You were never meant to fit in. From the moment you took your first breath, the world sensed something different about you. They saw the light in you before you even recognized it yourself. And instead of embracing it, they tried to bury it. They ignored you, overlooked you, and when they couldn't dismiss you, they walked all over you like you were nothing. You were pushed aside, made to feel small, treated as if your existence didn't matter. But deep down, something inside you refused to be broken. They tried to dim your fire, but they only fueled it. They tried to silence your voice, but now it echoes louder than ever. And today they no longer see you as weak, they fear you. But why? Why do they fear you now? What changed? Was it your success? Your resilience? Number it was never about material things or worldly achievements. What they fear is the realization that they never had power over you to begin with. They fear the fact that you have awakened, that you have stepped into the truth of who you are. You are chosen. And the moment you embraced that truth, the tables turned. You see, they never attacked you because you were weak. They attacked you because they saw your strength before you did. They knew what you were capable of, and they were terrified. That's why they tried to break you when you were still discovering yourself. That's why they tested you, humiliated you, and walked over you as if you were insignificant. But what happens when the one they tried to crush refuses to stay down? What happens when the underdog becomes the force that no one can ignore? The answer is simple. They panic. They feel the shift. They sense the power in you now, and it shakes them to their core. They look at you and realize that every stone they threw, every betrayal, every lie, every obstacle, none of it destroyed you. In fact, it made you stronger. They thought they were breaking you, but all they were doing was sharpening you, refining you into something indestructible. And now, when they see you, they can't stand it. They fear the very presence they once mocked. They avoid eye contact. They act different around you. They feel uneasy, not because you have done anything to them, but because your energy is too powerful to be ignored. They know they can't manipulate you anymore. They know you see through them. And nothing terrifies a manipulator more than someone who has become untouchable. Think back to your past. How many times did they try to make you doubt yourself? How many times did they laugh at your dreams, make you question your worth, treat you like you were invisible? They wanted you to believe you were powerless because deep down they knew the truth. If you ever realized your true potential, nothing could stop you. They knew that once you woke up to who you really were, you would become something they could no longer control. And that terrified them. That's why they tried to crush your spirit before it had a chance to rise. That's why they turned their backs on you, left you out in the cold, made you feel like you were not enough. But every moment of rejection, every painful lesson, was shaping you into the person you were always meant to be. And now, here you are, stronger, wiser, untouchable. They see it, they feel it. They know that the person they once walked over no longer exists. The version of you that needed their validation, that tolerated their mistreatment, that allowed them to take advantage of your kindness, that version is gone. You've stepped into your power, and now they fear you. They fear your confidence, your presence, your energy. They fear the fact that they no longer have access to you, that you see them for who they really are. And that realization, it eats them alive. You were never weak. You were never meant to be walked on. You were chosen. Chosen to break the cycle, to rise above the noise, to step into the fullness of your power. And now that you have, they can't handle it. They whisper about you, watch from a distance, try to find ways to pull you back into the old version of yourself. But it's too late. You've evolved. You've stepped into something greater. And nothing, no one can stop you now. They feel it in the air. They sense it in your presence. The ones who once looked down on you, the ones who treated you as insignificant, now carry an unspoken fear every time your name is mentioned. You see it in their eyes, in their forced smiles, in the way their energy shifts the moment you enter the room. They thought they had you figured out. They thought they could walk over you forever, that you would always be the quiet one, the forgotten one, the one they could manipulate and use for their own benefit. But now they see something different. Now they see the power you have stepped into, and it shakes them to their very core. Because they know they can no longer control you. Once upon a time, they took advantage of your kindness. They mistook your humility for weakness. They saw your patience, your ability to endure, and assumed that you would always remain in the shadows, always be the one left behind. They laughed at you when you struggled, turned their backs on you when you needed support, and acted like you didn't matter. And the worst part, they never thought twice about it. To them, you were just another stepping stone, another soul they could trample over on their way to their own success. They took your silence as submission. They believed you would never rise, never realize your worth, never become the force that destiny had designed you to be. But the universe was always working in your favor. Even when it felt like you were alone, even when the weight of betrayal, rejection, and disappointment crushed you, something greater was happening beneath the surface. Every trial, every moment of isolation was shaping you. You were being refined in the fire. While they were busy celebrating your downfalls, thinking they had won, thinking they had permanently placed you beneath them, you were growing. You were evolving. You were transforming into something unstoppable. And now they are the ones feeling small. Now they are the ones looking over their shoulders, realizing that the very person they tried to walk over has become the one they can't escape. They whisper about you now. They pretend they don't see you, but you can feel their eyes watching. You can feel the energy shift when you enter the room, the tension in their voices when they speak your name. They act like they don't care, but inside, they are uneasy. They remember everything they did to you, and they are terrified that karma will come knocking. They thought they could do whatever they wanted and walk away without consequence. But the universe does not forget. And now, their worst fear has come true. You have stepped into your power, and they can do nothing to stop it. The same ones who belittled you now try to copy you. The same ones who mocked your dreams now desperately wish they had your vision. The same ones who pushed you aside now suddenly want to be in your presence. But it's not because they've changed. It's not because they regret what they did. It's because they see you rising, and they fear being left behind. They see the power radiating from you, and they want to be close enough to benefit from it. But deep down, they know the truth. You are no longer the person they once knew. You no longer seek their approval, their validation, or their acceptance. You have outgrown them, and nothing terrifies them more than that realization. They never expected this outcome. They thought they had you figured out. They thought you would always be the one who settled, the one who stayed quiet, the one who allowed them to walk over you without resistance. But what they failed to understand is that you were never weak. You were patient. You were never lost. You were learning. You were never powerless. You were preparing. And now the time has come. Now you are stepping into the fullness of who you were always meant to be. And they are left scrambling, trying to make sense of how they lost control over someone they thought would always remain beneath them. But the truth is, they never had control to begin with. They only had the illusion of it. They mistook your silence for obedience. They mistook your kindness for foolishness. They mistook your patience for weakness. And now, as you rise, they realize the depth of their mistake. They realize that the person they once dismissed is now the one they fear the most. Because there is nothing more dangerous, nothing more powerful than someone who has found their true self. And you, chosen one, have found yours. Now they don't know what to do. The same ones who once walked over you, who laughed at your struggles, who dismissed you as insignificant. They are the ones who now feel uneasy in your presence. They thought they had you figured out. They thought you would always be the quiet one, the one they could manipulate, the one they could use and discard whenever it suited them. But they were wrong, and now that realization haunts them. They try to act like nothing has changed, but you can see it in their eyes. The fake smiles, the forced conversations, the sudden interest in your life. It's all an act, a desperate attempt to hide what they truly feel. Fear. They fear the strength you now carry, the confidence that radiates from you, the power in your silence. You no longer seek their validation, and that terrifies them. Because they thrived on your self-doubt, they fed off your insecurities. They needed you to believe that you were less so that they could feel like more. But now? Now they are the ones questioning themselves. Now they are the ones feeling small. The same people who once ignored you now can't stop talking about you. They watch from a distance, whispering, speculating, trying to make sense of how you became someone they can no longer control. They used to think they were above you, but now they realize the truth. They were never above you. You were never beneath them. They only had power over you because you hadn't yet discovered the power within yourself. And now that you have, they are powerless against you. They try to make amends, but not because they truly regret what they did. They come back not with sincerity, but with fear. Fear of being left behind. Fear of being exposed. Fear that you might do to them what they once did to you. But you don't need revenge. You don't need to stoop to their level. Your victory is in your growth. Your power is in the fact that they no longer have a hold over you. They can apologize. They can pretend to have changed, but it doesn't matter anymore. Because you are not looking back. You are not seeking closure. You have already won by becoming the person they never thought you could be. But let's go deeper. Let's talk about what really keeps them up at night. It's not just that you've moved on. It's not just that you've become stronger. It's the fact that they know they were wrong about you, and now they have to live with it. They have to live with the fact that they once had access to someone powerful, someone rare, someone destined for greatness, and they threw it all away. They have to sit with the truth that the person they once underestimated, the one they dismissed, has now surpassed them in ways they never imagined. And the worst part, they can't change it. They can't undo the past. They can't take back the way they treated you. And that's what eats them alive, because deep down, they know they played themselves. They know they lost something valuable. They see your glow now. They see your presence, and they know they can never dim it again. They see the strength in your voice, the confidence in your walk, the certainty in your spirit, and they know this is the real you. This is who you were always meant to be. And they can only watch. Once upon a time, they tried to make you feel invisible. They ignored you, overlooked you, walked over you as if you didn't exist. But now they see you everywhere. Now they hear your name in conversations they're not even part of. Now they witness your success in ways they never expected. They can't escape the energy you now carry, and it haunts them. You don't need revenge. You don't need to prove anything to them. The fact that they now fear what they once ignored is proof enough that you have won. Your power is not in retaliation, it is in evolution. It is in knowing that you have become something far greater than they ever imagined. You have risen beyond their reach, and no matter how hard they try, they will never be able to walk over you again. And now, as they watch you rise, as they see you step fully into your purpose, they finally understand what they never did before. You were never meant to be beneath them. You were always destined to rise, and now that you have, nothing can stop you.